In a world where faith and tradition intertwine with modernity, the death of a religious leader can send ripple effects through nations. Is Pope Francis the last pope? Or is it just a prophecy? This is the prophecy of Saint Malachy. My name is Olan Hulion, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking about Pope Francis and the prophecy that follows him. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I post a new video. So in this video, I really was going back and forth on if I should do my makeup since it's kind of a conspiracy video. But at first I just wasn't going to, but my twin yelled at me and was like, no, you've been doing your makeup in all your conspiracy videos, continue doing it. So here I am. Today I'm going to kind of do like a red look, because if you look up like all the popes, like whenever they're like doing the selection for the popes, they all have like these red robes on. I'll pop up a picture. But that's what I'm basing it off of. Oh, disclaimer. This is alleged and just a theory. I gained all of this information from public resources. Please do your own research. If the future gives you anxiety, click off this video. Viewer discretion is advised. So I was going to do this video months ago, but for whatever reason, I was like, no, I don't want to. But then I started going over the script of this video that I wrote, and I was like, this is kinda a good video. I should freaking do it. So here I am. But like at the time whenever I was going to do this video, it was gonna be a current event on Pope Francis dying and like how the selection of the Pope like comes about. But then I stumbled across Saint Malachy's prophecy on how Pope Francis is the last Pope. And I was intrigued. I was like, what do you mean he's the last pope? And where does this conspiracy even come from? Well, here's me and I'm about to tell you. So, Pope Francis was born George Mario Bergoglio? It's Italian, I'm assuming. George Mario Bergoglio. December 17th, 1936. In Flores, Buenos Aires, Argentina. So he was the son of Italian immigrants. His father was named Mario as well, so he was named after his dad. And Mario, his father, was an accountant, and his mom, her name was Regina, and she was a stay-at-home mom. George was one of 5 kids. And at the age of 21, he became severely ill with pneumonia. And he ended up having his, I think it was his left lung. No, it was his right lung, LOL. His right lung ended up being removed due to pneumonia. I did not know that was a thing. I mean, I don't think it's a thing now, but back then, they were just like, let me cut you out. Crazy. He attended technical school and ended up graduating as a chemical engineer. Smart cookie. Smart man. In his early 20s as well, this man worked as a bouncer. I was like, this man, holy Jesus. He over here being a bouncer, mind blown, mind blown. That man saw a lot of alcohol. So George worked as a chemist before he was called to be a priest. He entered the Society of the Jesuits March 11th, 1958. While he was there, he studied humanities and earned a degree in philosophy and theology. Pope Francis was ordained a priest on December 13th, 1969. December 13, 1960. Why does this sound so familiar? That's Taylor Swift's birthday! So this was making his final profession with the Jesuits on April 22nd, 1973. And July 31st of 1973, he was appointed provinical of the Jesuits in Argentina. He held the position for 6 years. After that, he served as a parish priest and a rector of the Colegio de San Jose and San Miguel. In 1992, Pope Francis was appointed Bishop of Buenos Aires by Pope John Paul II. He was named Juncture, Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1997. I don't know if I like her. Pope John Paul II named him Cardinal in February of 2001. He was known for humility, doctrinal conservatism, and the commitment of social justice. Let's set the scene. It's 2013. Pope Benedict is the current pope, but he ended up resigning due to health issues in February of 2013.
Our big story tonight, stepping down. Bombshell news out of the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI announces he will resign at the end of the month.
He becomes the first pope to do so in nearly 600 years. It even took the inner circle of his inner circle by surprise. Catholics around the world are reacting to the resignation of their spiritual leader and wondering what's next. The pontiff, making the stunning announcement at a meeting with his cardinal, says he plans to retire at the end of the month.
I have to be honest, I'm as shocked and as startled as all of you.
The Holy Father says even though he is aware of the seriousness of stepping down, he just doesn't have the strength to carry out his papal duties, saying in a statement, and we quote, "Both strength of mind and body are necessary. Strength which in the last few months has deteriorated in me."
And a conclave was convened in early March. Cardinal George Bergoglio, you know what, I think that's his name, Bergoglio. So Cardinal George Bergoglio was elected Pope the 5th ballot, and he ended up choosing to go by the name of Pope Francis. Whenever I was doing research on this, I was like, why are they choosing like what name they go by? It's kind of like a raffle, basically. Like there's a list of names and they have to pick one. It's kind of like the royal family, you know how they all have like the same names, like George and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So Pope Francis ascended to papacy on March 13, 2013, and he ended up becoming the first pope from Americas, like North America, South America, and he was also the first Jesuit to become pope. Whenever I was doing research, I was like, what is a Jesuit? What is that? Well, I did some Googling, some click-clacking, and as I was Googling, it literally just says that, hang on, let me look at my notes before I get this wrong. It's a Roman Catholic priest who is a member of the Society of Jesus. And the word comes from the 15th century, meaning one who used to frequently or appropriated the name of Jesus. So yeah, that's what that means. He was known for his humble approach, emphasis on social justice, and the commitment to interfaith dialogue. And he has reshaped the Catholic Church's image, like, drastically. Like, this man was speaking on things that most Catholics were like, what'd you say? So yeah, there's that. However, you know, human beings' time on earth is finite, and before he died, there was concerns about his health. Pope Francis died at the age of 88 due to a stroke and heart failure on April 2nd, 2025.
Good morning on this Monday, April 21st. I'm Ali Vitale, and we come on the air with breaking news this morning. Pope Francis has passed away. The Vatican made the announcement just moments ago, saying the 88-year-old Bishop of Rome has returned to the house of the Father. Just yesterday, Francis made a surprise public appearance to bless thousands of people in St. Peter's Square. He then drove through the piazza on the so-called Pope Mobile. Francis also met with Vice President J.D. Vance over the weekend. The Pope had been critical, of course, of the Trump administration and its mass deportation efforts, as Francis was an advocate for migrants. The Pope had been recovering, though, from pneumonia. He was in the hospital for 5 weeks and was discharged less than a month ago.
Let me zoom y'all in. Okay, this is the eye look as of right now. I'm about to go off camera and finish this eye up. My camera's about to die. I love that for me. I love that. So the process of electing a new pope is known as a conclave. It has steeped from tradition. It has been passed down for centuries. It hasn't changed since, and it'll probably never change now. So when a pope dies, basically what happens is a college of cardinals convenes together in the Vatican. They're locked away until they elect a new leader. This could be for days on end. They pray every day. They take I think it's 4 votes a day. The process is marked with prayer and reflection and culminating in the famous white smoke signaling the selection of a new pope. So basically what happens, they vote every day till they figure it out, and then once they figure it out, they release white smoke out the chimney, and that's how the Pope's elected. I remember in 2013 whenever Pope Francis was being elected, it was all over the news. I had this history teacher and she would come in, every morning, we would watch the news on what is happening. It was school safe news, I guess. Channel 1, I think is what it was called. I don't freaking remember, but anyway, we would watch the news in there because it was our history class. I think it was my 7th period actually, and her name was Miss Juno. We would watch the news every day, and I remember whenever it was selected, because she was trying to teach us the process of the Pope, but it was American history, so we weren't able to really touch on it. But I remember her telling us that he is the first Pope from the Americas, and that was a big deal because it's never been selected before, even though the Pope has been a thing for centuries. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. America's only 200 and something years old. Editing Olan here. I realized in 2013 I was in 5th grade going into 6th grade around this time. I haven't even moved to my new school yet, and so I'm a year or 2 off. But for whatever reason, I remember Miss Juno. I remember watching the news and it coming on there telling us that they picked a new pope. I don't know if it was a year later and they're finally doing the damn thing. I think it might have been a year in review a year later. But then that doesn't make sense either because I was in 6th grade a year later. I don't know, but I just remember Miss Juno telling us about the selection process of the Pope and why it was a big deal that it's from the Americas. Weird. Okay, so editing Olan here again. I think it might have been my 5th grade teacher, Miss Basinger, because that was also American history. So, with the passing of Pope Francis comes a wave of speculation and conspiracy. Some believe he is the last pope as foretold by the prophecy of Saint Malachy, which suggests that the final pope will lead the church through the apocalypse. Jesus, take the wheel. I don't want these bitches taking me with them. Ooh, ooh, hottest style ever. Okay, so where did this prophecy come from? Conspiracy theory come from? So in 1139, then Archbishop Malachy went to Rome from Ireland to give an account of his affairs. While he was there, he received strange visions about the future that included the name of every pope, 112, all from his time, who would rule until the very end. We are now at the last prophecy. Saint Malachy gave an account of his visions to Pope Innocent II, but the document remained unknown in the Roman archives until the discovery of 1590. In 1595, a series of 112 short cryptic phrases in Latin which purport to predict the popes of the Catholic Church, beginning with Celestine II. And these predictions came from Saint Malachy, as I told you, from the 12th century. His predictions are taken very seriously, as one report states, let me read this off to you. In 1958, before the conclave that would elect Pope John, we'll put the name up here because I don't know which one that is, Cardinal Spellman of New York hired a boat, filled it with sheep, sailed up and down the Tiber, sailed up and down the Tiber River to show that he was pastor at Nator. The motto attributed to the next pope in the prophecy, As for the prophecy concerning the 111th Pope, Pope Benedict, the prophecy says of him, Gloria Olivae, which means the glory of the olive. The order of Saint Benedict is also known as the Olivetarian, Olivetans. Many claim make Malachy's prophecy correct. The next and final pope then should be Peter Romanus, which is believed to be Pope Francis. He predicted that there would only be one pope after Benedict, and during his reign comes the end of the world. Many believe the last pope is Pope Francis. His prophecy states in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations after the seventh hilled city will be destroyed and the dreadful judge will judge the people. The 112 predictions, many scholars and enthusiasts claim that around 80 of them can be matched to actual popes. For instance, the prophecy de Laborsalus is interpreted as referring to Pope John Paul II. He was born during the solar eclipse. Another notable match is the phrase ex rose et Leo. I should get my dad to read all this Latin to me so I can get it right. Which is thought to refer to Pope Pius, known for the connection to the city of Rome, often associated with roses. Additionally, the prophecy and persecution extreme SRE is linked to Pope Benedict. This translates to the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church. His resignation in 2013 was unprecedented, leading to many to believe it fulfilled the prophecy, especially as he stepped down amid growing challenges facing the church. While the accuracy of these prophecies are debated, they have sparked significant interest and discussions over centuries. Each pope's reign and the circumstances surrounding the papacy are scrutinized for clues, creating a rich tapestry, you like that wording, of interpretations that blend faith with historical events. Okay, I'm back with the finished look. I was gonna wear a red shirt because of the robes that they wear in that one picture, but I thought I was gonna take away from the eyeshadow. Do we like this? Let me know in the comments. Also, I just did my normal look. If you would have done something different, let me know. Yeah, so anyways, to finish off the video, as we approach of what some people believe to be the end of the papacy line, the prophecies of Saint Malachy still haunt the Catholic Church till this day. If I let anything out of this video, please let me know in the comments. And for the new pope, he's the first American Pope, USA. His name is Cardinal Robert Prevost, and he will be known as Pope Leo XIV. He's from Chicago. Anyways, what do you think lies ahead of the Catholic Church? Will the prophecies hold true? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video, and I will see you next week. Maybe. Okay, so this is editing Olan. Looking at this footage, I don't know. So apparently I hit something on my phone whenever I was filming this little editing note. But what I was trying to say is that on my camera, the white balance is off and I don't know how to fix it. Anyways, I fixed it. And then I wanted to show you all my makeup because for whatever reason, it looks better on my iPhone than it does on the camera. Y'all, I just fixed my camera. Why does it look so good? Or am I tripping? Am I lying to myself?